Every night as the world quiets down, the noise in our heads can become overwhelmingly loud. We've all experienced those moments lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, trapped in a never-ending loop of thoughts about our mistakes today and worries about tomorrow. It's exhausting, isn't it? But you're not alone in this mental marathon. Overthinking is like an itch you can't scratch, stealing away both your sleep and daytime peace. What if I told you there's a way to quiet those noisy thoughts? Today we'll dive into the wisdom of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy as practical now as it was thousands of years ago. This isn't just about historical concepts, but real tools that can help us lead a more focused life. If you're tired of your mind spinning out of control, stick with me as we explore how these age-old strategies can bring us peace and clarity in a chaotic world. If you appreciate what we're doing here and want to keep up with more insights like these, do me a simple free favor and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss any part of this video. Each moment is packed with value to help you quiet the noise in your mind. You know those moments when you're just sitting there, your mind racing with a million what-ifs and maybes, and before you know it, hours have slipped by with nothing to show for it? That's what we're tackling here. Stoicism teaches us a powerful antidote to this paralysis by overanalysis, prioritizing action over endless thought. Consider the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who said, "The secret of all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious." Marcus wasn't just about thinking things through. He was about taking action that makes a real impact. So, how do we apply this? It starts with recognizing that action inherently moves us forward, while overthinking often spirals us into stagnation. Have you ever noticed that when you finally take even a small step forward, it's like a weight lifts off your shoulders? That's because action is liberating. It breaks the chains of procrastination and doubt. Here's a personal story. I once had an idea for a project and spent weeks planning every detail in my head, but it never went anywhere because I was caught up in trying to make it perfect. I was stuck in analysis paralysis. The moment I started taking action, jotting down notes or discussing the idea with a friend, things began to shift. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. The Stoics believed we control our actions, but not always the outcome. By focusing on what we can do right now, we reduce the overwhelm of trying to control every possible future scenario, which, let's be honest, is impossible. Each action you take teaches you something new, brings new insights and sometimes new challenges, but always movement. Every step is a learning opportunity, a chance to adapt and adjust. Here's another point to consider. Action feeds confidence. Each time you act, you prove to yourself that you can move beyond your fears. You build momentum, and suddenly what seemed impossible starts to look doable. Remember, in Stoicism, there's a lot about living according to nature. It's only natural to learn and grow from what we do, not just from what we think. So, what small action can you take today? Maybe it's making that phone call you've been putting off, sending an email, or organizing your workspace. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. Tiny steps are still steps. The key is to keep moving. Don't let your thoughts hold you back. As Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." By embracing the Stoic way of valuing action over analysis, we empower ourselves to live more fully, bravely, and with a clear sense of direction. So let's put those plans into action and make things happen. You'll be amazed at how much more you can achieve when you shift from overthinking to doing. This idea comes straight from the Stoic teachings, particularly from Marcus Aurelius, who often reminded himself in his meditations to keep his ego in check. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This was a reminder to focus on what truly matters without getting caught up in one's own self-importance. So why is realizing you're not that special actually a good thing? It's about understanding that the world doesn't revolve around our actions as much as we think. Most people are too busy dealing with their own lives to be overly concerned with what we're doing. This realization can be a game changer because it means you can stop overthinking how you're perceived. Have you ever hesitated to post something online because you were worried about what people would think? Or been afraid to start a new project or go after a job because of fear of criticism or failure? Believing everyone will notice and judge you? Here's a Stoic wake-up call. Most people won't even remember it a few days later. Everyone else is too busy navigating their own challenges. This doesn't mean your actions don't matter or that you shouldn't strive to do your best. It means you can breathe a little easier knowing that one mistake isn't going to be the focal point of everyone's attention. This concept helps strip away the facade that everyone is watching and judging our every move, a common trap that feeds overthinking and anxiety. It's freeing to realize that you can go about your life, make your choices, and even slip up now and then, and the world won't come crashing down. You get to experiment, learn, and live without the heavy weight of perceived constant scrutiny. Stoicism helps us nail this concept down by teaching humility and focusing on self-improvement for its own sake, not for applause or fear of criticism. Marcus Aurelius believed in living a life of virtue and being true to oneself, not living for external validation. So the next time you find yourself overthinking how others might perceive your actions, remember this lesson. You're not that special in the eyes of the world, and that's a good thing. It means you are free to live your life more fully, authentically, and without undue concern over every little judgment. This isn't about diminishing your value. It's about realizing that the spotlight isn't always on you. Use that space to focus on what truly matters to you. Engage with your real passions, and let the trivial worries go. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, whether it's their successes, their looks, or even their social media posts, we set ourselves up for unhappiness. It's like measuring our life's worth against a yardstick that keeps changing based on whom we're comparing ourselves to at the moment. The Stoics were big on focusing on what's within our control, and other people's lives are definitely not within our control. Epictetus famously said, "Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot." When you spend your energy focusing on others, you're wasting that precious resource on what you cannot change or influence. Imagine you're having a really good day, feeling proud of your accomplishments, big or small. Then you hop on Instagram or Facebook and suddenly see someone else's highlight reel, vacations, perfect homes, achievements. Suddenly your own victories don't feel quite so significant. That's the trap of comparison. What the Stoics teach us is to anchor our self-worth in our own values and progress, not in comparison to others. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about a fundamental shift in how we view success and happiness. It's about internal validation rather than external. When you live by this principle, you shift your perspective from competition to personal growth. It's liberating to stop comparing and start appreciating your own journey with all its ups and downs. You begin to see your life as a unique path, not a race against someone else's milestones. This mindset allows you to celebrate your own successes without the shadow of someone else's achievements dimming your light. If you can train yourself to shift your thinking from comparison to self-reflection, you'll find that joy comes more naturally. You'll start to recognize the blessings in your own life without feeling the need to stack them up against anyone else's. So the next time you catch yourself falling into the comparison trap, take a step back and remind yourself that your value is not defined by how you stack up against others, but by how you live according to your own principles and efforts. Redirect that energy back to your personal goals and growth. Trust me, this is a game changer in conquering overthinking and finding happiness in your own unique journey. The pursuit of perfection can be a relentless drive that ironically leads not to more success but to increased dissatisfaction and paralysis. When we set unattainable standards for ourselves, every small mistake or setback can feel like a catastrophic failure. It's a recipe for constant stress and chronic overthinking. The Stoic philosophers understood this well. They taught us that striving for perfection in the traditional sense, flawless and complete, is not only unrealistic, but also unnecessary. Seneca put it this way: we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. He was pointing out that our pursuit of an imagined state of perfection causes us much more distress than the actual imperfections of life. Think about that for a second. How often have you agonized over getting something just right, only to realize that the effort was causing you more anxiety than the results warranted? Stoicism invites us to embrace imperfection, not as a flaw, but as a fundamental part of being human. By accepting that we are inherently imperfect, we can free ourselves from the impossible expectations that bind us and cause endless cycles of overthinking.